welcome to Reality Tea Times 2, the podcast where we discuss all the trash reality TV we love to hate. I am Tanika, and today we are going to be discussing Love is Blind episode 2. So let's just get right into it, as we always do. So, season 7, episode 2, Perfect Husband, but... Okay, so we see the ladies are playing some game. I can't remember which game this was now, but they were playing some game, whatever. Let's move on. So we got Monica, and she's talking to Steven. They talk about their past relationships, how communication is key. They talk about, their flaws, and he admits that, he was a cheater, and he was cheated on as well. And he said the last person he felt he wasn't good enough for her. So that kind of, I guess is the reason he says that he cheated on her, which is kind of a cop out in my opinion, but whatever. He said he slid into this girl's DMs and flirted, and you know, his girlfriend found out. So I don't know if it ever turned physical, but emotional nonetheless. And he says that they went to therapy, they did work it out. And she explains that she has also been cheated on as well, but she has always been a forgiver, which I can definitely understand that. And he says that I want to go on a date with you tonight. I thought it was so cute. So, when he's like, I want to date you tonight. Okay. So Hannah is currently having some regrets with her breakup with Nick D, which is just like, my girl, again, we really hashed it out in the last episode. This just kind of goes, I don't know, it kind of goes to show that you're just all over the place. Like, if you like him, you like him. If you don't, you don't. If you come to those conclusions yourself, then fine. Come to those conclusions yourself, because you kind of have to think about yourself and not think about other people's opinions, I think. Like, do I think he is the best choice? No, I don't. But I feel like you should be sticking with what you think is right for you versus what other people might think is right for you. Like, it's just, I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, then we see Brittany is with Leo, and she talks about, how Hannah kind of now knows that she's kind of the other woman. And he says that he has a crush on her. Um, I think he meant Hannah. And she says, I don't know. I'm in a sad mood. Or I don't know who he was saying he had a crush on. I'm assuming he has a crush on both of them. But maybe he, in this case, was referring to Brittany herself. Like, I'm not sure. But he tells her, before our date, you were number 2. This is what he says to her, y'all. He literally says to her, before this date in particular, you were number 2 and Hannah was number 1. Wow. Okay. And he says, but now, well, no, actually, no, he didn't say she's number 1 or that she's the only one that's number 1. He says that you're both number 1. What? Like, I wouldn't accept that. I think Brittany kind of doesn't either, but I think like neither of them should accept being on the same level. You have to kind of want to be with someone more than the other. It's either that, um, it's either that he's placating her, trying to make her feel better, or he's really a dum dum. Like, there's no other thing here. And personally, I think he's just telling her what he thinks she wants to hear, and it's just like, mm, mm-mm. Just be honest, I guess. I don't know, but um, he's like, maybe I shouldn't have said that, but it's true. So then, like, who are you saying this for? Are you saying it for her, or are you saying it for you? I shouldn't have said that, but it's true. What? He is trying to make her feel better, but How is she supposed to feel better after that? Like, that's either what I wrote or whatever, but, like, how do you feel better after that? I'm sorry, like, how? You would feel worse because, okay, so I wasn't number 1, and now I'm sharing the top spot with someone else, like, what? So then Hannah's with Nick D, go fucking figure, and she's like, "I have not been okay today," and he says, "Do you think you made a mistake?" And she says, "Yeah, I do," and he says, "I was hurt." And I think she says, or someone says, "I think I hurt you." I think she says it, and someone says, "So you couldn't hurt me," or something like that. I don't know. But she says to him in this moment when I'm just like, I want to scream because I'm like, are you dumb? Like, it's dumb enough that you did this because the women told you to, which is ridiculous. But it's even more dumber to literally tell this man that's why you did it. And he's also dumb for accepting it, like this is so dumb. Anyway, so she says to him that everyone told me to break up with you and I did. And I feel you might break my heart. And she says, what if at the reveal you don't like what you see? And he says, listen, it goes both ways. Like, I think she thinks that he has the power here, solely has the power here, and that he solely will not like her, but she'll like him no matter what he looks like. And it's like, that's not realistic. That's not at all realistic. We've seen it on the show before. It is not realistic that you're gonna like him, but he's not gonna like you. Or vice versa. Or better yet, you're just gonna like each other no matter what because you liked what you were hearing from this person, but then you see them in person, you're just gonna be fine with whatever you see. And that's not realistic. So that's what he's trying to say. Listen, this goes both ways. You might not like what you see. And like, isn't that not something that can be concerning for him? Like, you know what I mean? So he's like, you have to give me a chance, which I understand that. And he says, do you still want to do this? And she says, yes, which was irritating for me because I'm just like, my guy, you deserve someone. I mean, I think we all do. We all deserve someone who's going to pick us no matter the noise. And the fact that she kind of showed you she's a little finicky, I wouldn't feel comfortable marrying someone under those circumstances. But that's just, again, this is me. So Hannah is with Leo now, and we are twin flames. Gross. So then we got Garrett and Taylor, and she got him an avocado plant, which is kind of cute. He got her honey. I think it's like, I don't know if he said it was family honey. I don't know if I got that wrong. But she also then says that she wants to have kids in 5 to 7 years from now, which is like, I don't know how old she is. I can't remember. And I know, like, in today's day and age, we don't have to solely wait for, you know, we had to get it done before 35 and whatever as women, right? But 5 to 7 years is a long time. I don't know if I've ever heard anyone, male or female, say, I want to wait 5 to 7 years to start having kids. Like, that's a lot. Like, maybe 5, but 7? So he thinks that's a long time. Maybe there could be some compromise with that, he asks. And she doesn't feel that she has to compromise on that. So this is such a sticky situation. On the one hand, no, she shouldn't have to compromise when it comes to her body. The fact that her she doesn't want to put her body through something before a certain time, that is up to her mentally. that is up to her. We're the ones as women who have to carry the child, and I understand that. But when you're a couple, and there has to be some form of compromise. Maybe instead of 5 to 7, maybe 3 to 5. And if you want to stick closer to that 5, that's fine. Or instead of saying 5 to 7, maybe we stick to the 5. Like some wiggle room on that because it's both of you. It's not just, I think like we've seen this again with like Michael and Angela, for example, where it's like the man's needs or wants to be a father just don't fucking matter. And I'm not saying it's extreme as that, but just using that as an example. What men want to, in terms of having kids, shouldn't matter even 10%. And she kind of like was like, nope, I'm not compromising, which is, again, on one hand, I get it. On the other hand, I don't. So it's this weird sticky place with what she said here. But anyway, she talks about how she could, you know, he could add to her life instead of, you want someone to add to your life, not be your life, right? And he asks, would you be my girlfriend? And she says, hmm, no. You got 2 hours to convince me, though. I love these two. And she's like, I'm still stuck on the fact that you say I'm Shrek. And he's like, I'm not walking out of here without that. Without that, they're in a relationship, y'all. They're cute. I like them. Anyway, we got Marissa and Bodan. She has a Harry Potter tattoo. Oh my god. I freaked because I'm like, I love her just for that reason. He tells the story about how him and a camel faced off. And like he almost lost his life due to this. Like this camel was charging at him. And like he almost died. And it basically knocked him down. And he thought the moment he was gonna die. And yeah, so that's crazy. He also talked because he's from Ukraine. So he did talk about how he went to Ukraine after when the war started. He basically went to his job and was like, "Listen, I gotta go. I gotta fight the fight. Like I gotta go." And he also then said like how he went to his mom and told her like, "I'm going." And she's like, "I was just waiting for you to say it when that you were going." Like, because he was also in the army, I believe. So like this is you're just sitting waiting to kind of hear him say that he was going to be doing this, which is, definitely understandable. Like your country is at war, you're going to go and you're going to fight that fight. And so then we're with Marissa and Ramses, who is a very interesting character. He gives me Michael vibes actually from Michael from Married at First Sight. He kind of gives me those vibes a little bit. I think actually, if anything, Michael is a little more subtle than Ramses, but he gives me those vibes a little bit. So, you know, maybe he's going to be similar to that because I really, really liked Michael. So we'll see. Um, he tells her that she's his number one. He was previously married. They were high school sweethearts. And he was from like raised in a religious household. So like I don't know if that was part of their reasoning for getting married when they did, but um they were married for 4 years. And it just didn't work out. And that's fine. He doesn't want to conform to whatever society says is masculine, which again gives me the Michael vibes, because he was the same way. He also didn't conform to whatever society views as masculine, which I loved. I loved that about Michael. So and we find out from Marissa, who is a mix, I don't know if she's biracial or she's biracial at minimum. She dated a Trump supporter. That's a very interesting choice. Like she kind of just basically shows like her her relationships kind of go here, there, and everywhere in terms of kind of the men she's dated. And it, as a woman, as a black woman, dating a Trump supporter is an interesting choice. That's for sure. Because uh, mm, I don't know, as a black woman, if I could um, date a Trump supporter, because that makes me wonder, like, how far do your beliefs go? But anyway, good for her. So then we got Garrett and Taylor. He's got her sunflowers, which are her favorite, and he gave her a little note, and it ended with, "Will you be my girlfriend? Yes or no? Check the box." And this was in the quarters. So that was really cute. Then we have Alex and her guy, whose name I didn't catch initially. Anyways, we'll see if I figure that out as time goes on here. Um, they talk. Oh, I think this was Tyler. Is that right? The really hot guy. Anyway, they talk religion, um, and other things. But then they also talk about the death of his sister. Now he only talks about the one sister here. And he said that she died from lupus, which can be a very debilitating illness, as I think a lot of us know. And he wears her, I think his high school sister's rings, both of them, as a necklace. So we got Taylor and Garrett again, and she wrote him a note, which I didn't write down, but it was a very sweet note. Then he proposes, and of course, she says, "Absolutely, we have our first couple here." So we'll obviously be doing the predictions for me again. I'm behind, but I guess in this case, it'll be more about what I think, and you'll get to experience that journey with me as we go through this. But I'll kind of say my predictions once we have everybody. So, yeah, we got Monica and Steven. Monica asks, "Did you vote?" Which I think is a very important question to be asking, especially in a time like this. And he says yes. And he says, "Did I like the candidates?" Not necessarily. And he's like, "I will not vote based on the party." He's going to vote based on, I guess, his beliefs, right? And his views. He said in the 2016 election, he did vote for Trump because he didn't like Hillary. So he voted for Trump. And he's like, "I ended up voting Biden in the 2020 election because he didn't particularly like what he saw from Trump in his 4 years as president." Join the group. So he said that his first vote, the 2016 election vote, wasn't an educated one. So, you know, I mean, again, we're talking this was 2016. He probably was really young. That's why I'm a huge believer. Like, yes, if you have the ability to vote, you should vote. Absolutely. But you shouldn't vote just for the hell of it. You should be doing your education. I did not vote in Canada's first election as of when I turned 18, which I think I was 19 when the first election that I could have voted in happened. I didn't vote because I did not have the education, the understanding of what I'm voting for. And I needed to kind of let that simmer, let my mind get there, because at 19, you don't care about certain things in the same way that you might in your 20s, into your 30s, so on and so forth. So, yeah, it's I don't know how old he was, but I think you shouldn't vote to vote, right? I don't know if he voted just because, oh, it's Donald Trump, so I'm not saying necessarily that's what he did, but I just think, like, make sure if you're, again, I've said this before, um, we're talking about the election actually in next week podcast, which will be the whole episode will be coming out after the election happens. But we have talked about vote, vote, vote. Make sure you vote. It's important to vote. And I'm going to say it here. I'm trying not to make this political, but it was brought up here. Vote, vote, vote. But make sure you are educated on what exactly it is you're voting for. I don't care who you vote for. I mean, I care, but make sure you're voting for whatever views echo to you, whether that's Democrat or Republican. Anyway, so he then talks about the fact that he thought that he was Italian until about 3 years ago. His sister did an ancestry and they found out that they are 0.3% European. No mention of Italian, but the biggest percentage was actually Ghanaian. Can I say that right? Ghana. Sorry, I know I didn't say that right. Nigerian. So basically West Africa. That is really interesting. This is, y'all, for those people who don't watch the show, who don't know what Steven looks like, he is white as can be, which doesn't mean anything. We know there are white Africans, of course, but I think you tend to see a lot more white people, at least more um, a percentage of white people in places like South Africa. Um, I've never come across a West African white person before. So it's really interesting, but this kind of goes to show, listen, we we all are the same. It don't matter. Because again, Alex is black. It don't matter what you look like. We all come from the same place. Listen, at the end of the day, you either come from Europe or you come from Africa. That's point blank, period. So we all come from somewhere. And I'm just saying, it's really interesting to see this whitest ever boy um have roots to West Africa. That is incredible. Interesting to see. Anyway, she is biracial, but yeah, anyway. So then Ashley A, we see her talking to Tyler, which he is a, yeah, so her, no, I think that was Monica, sorry. So yeah, Ashley A, she's talking to Tyler. And they're listening to the music. And he tells her that he loves her. And he says that he's like, I don't care what's on the other side of that wall. Girl, we getting married. And I'm like, my ovaries moved. Like, I really like him. He's hot too. Like, in my honest opinion, he's like one of the hottest guys there. Um, so yeah, I think he's actually the only hot guy there. We need more UK, y'all. But anyway, so we have the reveal. It's reveal time, which there's not really much to really say about the reveal. It went well. They seem to like each other. They seem to have gone well. And that's all there really is to say. So, yeah, that's basically it. That is the episode. So, the next episode y'all can expect is Golden Bachelorette episode 2. So, we are about 3 episodes behind. So, we're going to do episode 2. And that is the next episode that you can expect to receive. But that is it for me for now. Um, we'll be back with Golden Bachelorette. But that is it for this episode. So if you like what you heard, please rate, review the podcast on either Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Also, don't forget that you can also share us with everyone in your life if you really love this. And I do want to read those reviews. I'm definitely getting 5-star ratings, but I want to read those reviews. So send me those reviews and I will read those 4 and 5-star reviews on the podcast. Also, we're on every one of your favorite podcast apps, every one of them, including you can find us on YouTube at Reality Tea Times 2. If you want to connect with us, you can do so by going to either Facebook or Instagram at Reality Tea Times 2. You can also find us on Twitter, TikTok, Reddit at Reality Tea Times 2 Pod. We also have our email, which is at realityteatimes2 at hotmail.com. Definitely want to hear from you guys. And we also have our new website where you can listen to all of these episodes. You can review the podcast on there as well. You can connect with me in any way, all the stuff. It's all there. And you can find me there at www.realityteatimes2, all spelled out, .podpage.io. It's there. And don't forget, I also have my other podcast with my friend Mikkel, Next Take Podcast, where we talk about all kinds of different topics. But you can find us on any of your favorite podcast apps over there as well. Or you can also go to YouTube and you go to Next Take Podcast, as well as our website, which is solo.to/Next Take Podcast. So yeah, there's that, and that's basically that. And again, don't forget, if all of this information is overwhelming, we do have all of the links, everything in our show notes. But that is it for now, guys. Thanks. Bye.